Hey Claude, can you please tell me the last 5 videos I've recorded in Tela, my video recording software? Now, for those of you that don't know, Tela is a video recording software. You can see this is my entire library that I use to record all of my YouTube videos and the 100 AI videos. So here, the 100 AI is a 10-stage roadmap to take anyone from a complete beginner to top 1% with AI. There are numerous topics in there, right from the basics to prompt engineering, to building automations, agents, databases, Claude, and so much more. This is my Tela library that has all of my videos that I use to record both for YouTube as well as for the 100 AI community. And in this video, I'm going to show you how do we connect Claude to Tela using MCP or Model Context Protocol, and how by just using simple natural language prompts, I can edit my videos, cut, trim, and do so much more. And after that, we're going to look at 2 other examples of how do we connect Claude to N8N so that you can run your automations from within Claude, and how you can even connect Claude to a project management software like ClickUp and have it manage your entire dashboard or tasks or anything in your personal, professional, or business life. I'm just going to play this short clip for you. This is a short video I recorded in Tela itself. Now, in that clip, you would have noticed that a lot of pauses, which I've included intentionally, because we're going to see how it can automatically cut these videos for you. So it can trim the videos, remove all of the pauses. And in this clip, you can see I've intentionally included a lot of ums and ahs. And those are basically what I will use Tela through Claude to edit and cut out these filler words completely using Claude itself and without me manually having to do it. And without further ado, let's jump right in and how we can start to use Claude as a video editor. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of context as to what is MCP, what is Model Context Protocol, why it's so important, why you may hear this term a lot, and why it's blowing up right now. So MCP, or Model Context Protocol, was invented or created by the team at Anthropic, the same team that has built Claude. And basically what they did is all these AIs, right, had access to different softwares and tools. They could call different functionalities within the softwares or tools. Now, many people think MCP is magically made the AIs or the LLMs smarter, but that's not what they do. They basically give the AIs a very standard way of communicating with them, what they expect and what are the outputs they will give it. So for a more practical example, think of it like the USB cable, for example, right? Prior to the USB cable, every device had its own weird cable that you would require some custom way of connecting it to your machine. But once USB was invented, especially the USB-C cable, that is when all devices could now magically use this one device to connect to any other device. So that's what MCP does for AI. It allows any of your applications that have an MCP or can communicate via an MCP server with Claude. So it just makes that bridge a lot easier now, because earlier you would need to build some sort of custom code implementation to get Claude to talk to, for example, you would need some custom code to get Claude to talk to ClickUp, custom code for Claude to talk to N8N, and so on. And so this process has now become seamless with the invention of this Model Context Protocol. And just another example to kind of drive this point home, say you were a concierge service provider at a hotel, right? Different vendors, like say a laundry service provider, a massage provider, a specialized food caterer, may all give you their menu or rate cards. And that is basically what you would use when communicating with customers. So if a customer in a room made a special request for a service that the hotel itself does not provide, now in this case, Claude has access to all of these external services, right? The laundry, the massage service, the food caterer. These are all external tools or applications that the centralized hotel or Claude or the concierge service within the hotel has access to. You simply call the front desk or the concierge service and you tell them what your request is, and they handle everything, based on the tools they have access to. So this is where once you connect Claude to different tools and softwares that you use, most of the leading softwares across all industries have implemented MCP within their applications now, which makes this so much more powerful. And basically, once you have those connections set up, Claude has access to take actions on your behalf within these applications. Now, obviously, that comes with an element of risk, because if you gave Claude the wrong instruction, it would take the wrong instruction in your application. So that's why being clear in your prompts and your communication is very important. But another way to foolproof this process and to make it more safe is that you may give Claude only read access, or read access without permissions to, say, your entire repository or your entire workspace when we look at, say, ClickUp, for example. So for read operations, we may give Claude unfiltered, unrestricted access if we wanted it to be able to fetch whatever we have inside our workspace, tool, or application. But if we wanted to perform any kind of create, update, or delete, right, basically any write or modify kind of operation, which has some potential risk involved, then we may set our setting so that Claude always asks us for permission first before proceeding. So tweaking these settings is something you also have access to that I'm going to show you in this video. And now let's continue with our example in Tela. Okay, so this was the command that I gave Claude, right? Hey Claude, can you please send me the last 5 videos I've recorded in Tela, my video recording software? You don't have to specify my video recording software, but I just did. So these were the last 5 that I've recorded. You can see it even has a description, the recorded at date, what the title of the video was. And now it says, looks like modules 9 and 10 are both actively in progress for the master. Want me to pull up the clip list or transcript of any of these? So now what I may want it to do, and this is where you can ask Claude what features or what functions does it have access to within the application you're referring to. So I may say, what features or what all can you do inside of Tela? Now you may replace Tela here with whichever application. For this example, we're working with Tela and we're using Claude to help us edit our videos. So I'm going to say what features or what all can you do inside of Tela. Okay, so when working with MCPs, you may not always know what capabilities they have. A video editing app, the things you would expect them to be able to do is like fetch a list of your videos, create a new video, get maybe the titles or thumbnails. Then you might expect it to be able to give you transcripts. You might expect it to be able to trim or cut. Basically, this is going to change per application, right? Now, for a video editing software, these were a few examples. If you were using it in AnyDen, then the functionalities may be different, right? One of the core features you would look for is, can you call an automation to fire in AnyDen from Claude directly, right? You may just give Claude a command and you may want an automation to run. Another example is when working with apps like ClickUp, you would expect it to be able to create a task, fetch a list of your tasks, update a task, delete a task, and different tasks like that. These functionalities are basically going to change per app you are using, but the functionalities basically represent what you would do inside the app anyway, if that makes sense, right? So we're going to look at how do we use the MCP from Tela, which is a video editing software. We're going to look at how do we use the MCP from AnyDen, which is automation platform of choice. So how do we use Claude to use the MCP and communicate with AnyDen to fire some of automations. And then we're also going to see how do we use Claude using the MCP to communicate with ClickUp and manage tasks in there. So if you're ever unsure of what you can and can't do using the MCP with any application, you can always ask Claude once you have it connected, right? So in our example, first we asked Claude, can you tell me the last 5 videos I've recorded? Then it gave me some suggestions. Now what I wanted to do is just give me a high-level overview of what features or what all can you do inside of Tela. So it's going to think, it's going to use the correct tools that it needs, and then it's going to give us an answer. So it says catalog 51 tools into feature categories. So we basically have video and playlist management. So list, get details, duplicate or delete videos, update video, metadate, create, update, delete playlist, and add or remove from them. You can see they have a lot of effects, right? They have polish and effects, clip editing, transcripts and media inspection, sources and export, and so on. So we're just going to try a couple of these. So now one video that I recorded, the really short one, which was this test video for MCP, I'm going to ask it, can you please duplicate the test video for MCP? And we're going to see if it does that. So one thing that you can see that it's intelligently doing is it asks us for permission. Now, to be able to manage permissions, and if you want Claude to run automatically or for permission, if you come into your connectors, so if I click customize and I come into my connectors, you can see for each tool that you have integrated, like in Teller, some read-only tools, it's safe enough to always allow. You have different choices between always allow, needs approval, blocked, and a custom setting across all of these options. Whereas what I have done for the write or delete, because I don't want it automatically making changes without my manual approval. So that's why I've set these to needs approval. Now, if we look for duplicate clip or duplicate video, which is basically what we are doing, you can see the permission is set to for permission or needs approval. So therefore, Claude is first asking us, does it have permission to do so? Allow once. So it's going to duplicate the video. And now it says it's created a copy called test video for MCP copy. So now if we come back into Teller, we should see a duplicate created. So if I just refresh the page, you can see that it's automatically gone ahead and done that for us, right? Isn't that so cool? Like you can just chat with a chatbot or chat with an LLM like Claude and just have it do things for you in the background. Okay, so another feature we may want to test out is the transcript. So I may say, can you please fetch for this video? And again, we're just going to let Claude do its thing. And it says it was available in a prior response, but basically, even if you wanted to fetch it, okay. And as you can see, it's gone ahead and fetched the transcript. It says, hello, this is just a short video about the World Cup that has just started. I'm supporting Argentina and so on. So if we just come into this video, just so that you can see the transcript, if I click on edit, it shows us the script in a new tab here on the right. Now, what's interesting to note is there are a lot of pauses that I had created throughout this, right? So if we give Claude a command like, can you please remove all of the pauses and blanks that I have in the video, you can see Claude is thinking, it's finding the right tools. You can even see that it's doing it for both clips, because in this video, I had clip 1 and clip 2, which 2 separate clips. Now, as usual, it asks us for permission whenever making any edits. If you want to always allow this, you can just click always allow, which we've seen how we can manage from the connector and settings page. So it says clip 1 has been trimmed down from 30 seconds to 10.4 seconds. And now clip 2, and then all pauses and dead air removed. So now if we come into our video just to check if it has actually done it and click refresh, can you see how beautifully it has all of the blank spaces throughout our video just by using a single chat command, right? And this is where AI is so incredibly useful and kind of, yeah, amazing, that you can just give chat commands and it can do it for you, kind of like an intern would. Of course, there are levels to this, and this is basic video editing, but it more than gets the job done. To show you a further example of this, in the second clip, as you can see from the transcript, I intentionally included a lot of an R's. So what we're going to tell Claude now is, can you please remove all of the filler words and so on. And we're just going to give Claude that instruction and let it do its thing. So it found the available tool which removes fillers. We're going to say allow, and now it's removed all of the filler ones. So similarly, if we come back in here and just hit refresh in our clip 2, can you see how it's all of the R's, the and so on? Okay, so that was basically how we implemented MCP to connect Teller and Claude. Now the process stays the same no matter which tool you are using. You just have to set it up as a connector, and usually that just means logging in with your app. So to show you a couple of other examples, we're now going to look at one in N8N. So if I come over into N8N, you can see that I have these two set up with the simple functionality of just being a post webhook to receive some data, website inquiry data. So in the JSON that we receive from a webhook, we have a first name, last name, email, program, and message. And this was a similar webhook for website feedback. And it basically first name, last name, email, a rating, and a message. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can access this automation inside of Claude. So I'm just going to come into Claude and I'm going to ask it, hey Claude, do you have access to my N8N workspace and my website module 10 automation, which was the name of this automation, right? So now that it has access to it, I'm going to ask, can you figure the first webhook about a new inquiry via MCP from here directly using dummy data? And we're just going to give it this prompt. And as you can see, Claude, without giving it any additional information, it has pulled the workflow details. It found the first webhook, which had /demo website. So if we just come back into N8N, you can see that this production URL has /demo website on the end, which is perfect. It expects a post body with first name, last name, email, program, and message, which is fantastic. And it throws into a Gmail node that will send a real email to this is my email with the inquiry details. So it's just flagging that before I fire it, this isn't a dry run. It will actually send that email. So it's created this JSON body, Jordan Smith test at example.com, and the program name and the message that it's going to send. So we're going to say yes, send it. And now similarly, it's asking us for execute permissions. So if we wanted to view our permissions for N8N, we would into customize under our connectors. If we look at N8N, you can see for our read-only tools, we've given it always allow access. So it can fetch everything, but for the write or delete. So when we needed to execute a workflow, for example, it needs approval first. So if we come back into our chat and we can say always allow, or we can click on this drop down and say allow once. So I'm just going to say allow once. And now it's triggered this webhook. It also gives us this option to check the execution status or result to confirm it completed without errors. Yes, can you please let me know if were any, and if we hit send, code is thinking, no errors. The execution ran clean end to end. So the webhook has sent the data. It has sent a message as well via this email node. If we come up to our executions, you can see it has run at 10:34 and it is 10:35 p.m. now. So this has succeeded as well. And now we'll just check in Gmail if this email has actually been sent. And if I come into my Gmail, you can see we've got this new website inquiry with the name Jordan Smith, email, program, and the message. You can see it was sent at 10:34 as well, which was 2 minutes ago. And that is very much how simple and easy and fantastic it is to use N8N within Claude. So if you are using it internally and you have these automations set up with the various tools and apps you use, you can just use Claude as some kind of command center and ask it as you would any assistant or any intern what is the status of any, and now we're going to look at that specifically in ClickUp, which is going to be the third example that we look at in this series. Okay, so now to show you the ClickUp example, I just came into Claude and said, do you have access to my ClickUp account? And can you tell me what tasks I have in there? So it says I don't have ClickUp connected yet. Let's get hooked up. So with any application that you want to connect, you have a bunch of ways of doing it. If Claude has already integrated with it, which it has in most cases, you can just use this connect, which is going to be some sort of login or OAuth screen. And in other cases, you might need an API key. You might need an API key. So you can always Claude, what do I need to connect with you via the MCP? And now we're just going to come back to a ClickUp example. Click connect, and it shows us this interface. So we're going to select workspace, click on connect workspace, and basically that's done. That's literally how simple it is to connect Claude to ClickUp, for example. So now it says that it has found ClickUp. Let me ask it to, can you fetch all of my tasks? And if we just come over into ClickUp so that you can see what tasks I currently, so you can see that I have these two in to do, one in progress and two that have been completed. So these are a few tasks. Now let's see what Claude gives us back. So Claude wants to use some tool. So we're just going to say always allow. Then it wants to use filter tasks tool. Now it needs permission to search a workspace, which we will also allow. And yep, I'm connected. So now it fetches our tasks, and you can see it has perfectly done that. We have two tasks in to do, build a portfolio and record YouTube video on MCP AI agents. So if I come back in here, you can see those are the two we have in here. For in progress, it says build customer service WhatsApp agent, which if we come back to Claude, you can see build customer service WhatsApp agent is in progress, and two that have been completed, which is our content waterfall system and the research streaming notes. So now that it has done this, we can even update the status of any of these tasks. So now I may give Claude a command. Can you please update the status of record YouTube video on MCP agents to in progress? And you have full flexibility in how you set up your workspace inside ClickUp, and basically all of the data will be pulled across into Claude. So now Claude needs permissions to update. We're going to click always allow, and it says done. So now we're going to go back and check if it has actually marked this video as in progress. And if I come into click, you can see that record YouTube video on MCP AI agents is now in progress. So that is basically how simple it is to work with MCPs, but how extremely powerful they are, right? Or basically connect your tools into Claude with one click and just basically log into them. But once you have them set up, you have full freedom and full flexibility to do very much anything with. You can use it to fetch data, send data, create data, update or delete data, and basically how you would function in the app. You can do it just by giving it text commands now. And that is the incredible power that we have now at our fingertips with things like these MCP servers.